Hello people's internet, my name is Kevin and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so for today's video we are going to be doing my February wrap up, and let's just say I failed my February TBR. If you remember at the start of the month in February I did a video where I let Twister pick my TBR. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link up here. But anyways, I let Twister pick my TBR for the BookTube games and just for February in general, and I chose 8 books, which was very, very, very adventurous.
And I was like, oh my god, I think I might actually read all of those books.
That's where the lie stems, because Kevin did not read all of those books. Kevin, in fact, only read 3 out of those 8 books. Like, that's just really disappointing to me, but you know what? I read books, and that's all that matters. Like, I still read something at the end of the day, so pat on the back for Kevin.
That's clearly my shoulder I'm patting, but okay.
So yeah, if you couldn't tell from that ramble that I just said, I did read 4 books in February. And so yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys about all of these books, and let's just get straight into the wrap up. Okay, so the first book that I read in February was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Now this book I actually did a book swap reading vlog video with my friend Mayana from Little Wolf Reads. So if you guys want to see that video where I did a whole vlog dedicated to reading this book and my thoughts on it, I'll leave a link up here, and I basically talked all about my feelings about the book in that video. I also did a discussion at the end of the video with Mayana, and we just talked about everything that happened. So if you really want to know everything about my feelings on that book, it's really in depth in that video, so go watch it. So if you don't know what this book is about, which I'm sure everyone does because it's very, very hyped and there's lots of mixed opinions about it, but just in case some of you out there are watching and you don't know what this is about, I have got your back. This book follows a girl named Jude and her sisters who witness their parents being murdered one morning by a man, and then this man takes Jude and her sisters to the land of fairy, where they have to grow up in a world full of fairies, even though they are human. Now I know that was a really bad synopsis, but I didn't know anything about this book when I went into it, and I was so glad I didn't know anything because I really like this book. So if you guys want to jump in that way as well, I would recommend. Yeah, I give this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it, like so much. But this book is just a very me book because there's a lot of death. There is a lot of like fast paced, there's a lot of twists and turns, and it's a very me book. That's all I can say. And also I would recommend this book to any Slytherins watching because this is a very Slytherin book, and I just cannot wait to dive into The Wicked King. I need to get it ASAP and read that book. But yeah, I really enjoyed The Cruel Prince, 5 out of 5 stars, and yes, I actually really wish I was a fae. So after I read The Cruel Prince, I dived into How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake. That's a really hard thing to say. How to Make a Wish, and then say wish and then Ashley. It's because they both have the ish noise. What am I saying? Anyways, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, I believe. So if you don't know what this book is about, it is about a girl named Grace who has a weird relationship with her mother, who is an alcoholic and kind of disrupts their life every time she breaks up with a boyfriend, and just like ups and moves them away, so she's constantly moving around. And then one day, Grace meets this girl named Ava, and stuff blossoms from there. Also, more tension happens between her relationship with her mother. And this book is just also really adorable. It's a female-female romance, and I found it really cute and adorable, and I was like dying so much. Also, because I'm so single, but it was also just really cute. Also, I want to give a trigger warning for this book for neglect and alcoholism. I feel like they're very real topics that Ashley Herring Blake handled really well, and that's kind of why I really love this book so much. The only reason I didn't give it a full 5 stars is because it took me a little while to get into it, because I was like,
I don't know if I'm feeling this.
But then after a couple pages I was like,
okay, I'm feeling it.
So it just took me a little bit of time, but I got there in the end, and that's all that matters. And I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. Now the next book that I read is actually one that I do not own, but I need to buy the physical copy for it like ASAP, because this book is so freaking cute and adorable, I can't even deal. Okay, had to get it out of my system. But this book is Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman, and this is a graphic novel about 2 boys that meet each other at school and become friends and suddenly fall in love, and it's just such an adorable book. Like, I cannot... Let's not go down this route, guys, because I am going to just gush too much about this because it's just so freaking cute. It's just so cute. It's so cute. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend that you do. If you can't buy a physical copy like I couldn't, I will leave a link down below to where you can read it as the webcomic, because this book did start off as a webcomic, but now it's getting published into physical copies, but you can still read the webcomic, so I'll leave a link down below in case you want to go read it, and please gush about it with me. If you go and read it, please like hit me up somewhere. Find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram, DM me somewhere and talk about this book with me. I am ready to discuss the cuteness because, guys, this is one of my favorite graphic novels of all time. I am so obsessed with it. It's so adorable. Also, another thing I want to talk about with this book is that it deals with sexuality in a really great way, especially bisexuality. I just really love the representation of bisexuality in this book, and I think it was handled really, really well. Also, this book has lots of different trigger warnings, but it actually gives you an advance of the trigger warnings on each of the pages. It tells you that there's going to be a trigger warning for something here, and then you can go to a note section and it will tell you more about the trigger warnings, so you can avoid reading those pages if you want to. And I actually really, really appreciated that those trigger warnings were given, because I know a lot of people in the LGBTQIA+ community have trouble reading certain aspects about it, so the fact that the trigger warnings were given, honestly, to me meant a lot, and I really, really appreciated it. But yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. I just love this book. Please read it and talk about it with me. This was definitely my favorite read of the whole month, just saying. Like, I loved it so much. I need to buy the physical copy of volume 1 because I need to reread them and tab my favorite parts. Okay, I'm gonna calm down now. I just really like that book. And so the final book that I read in the month of February was Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. Now, I actually buddy read this book with my friend Chloe from Books with Chloe, and we both ended up feeling the same about the book. Like, we both had the same kind of opinions. And if you don't know what this book is about, it follows 3 sisters who are the queens, and only one of them can actually be the queen. And when they turn 16, they all have to try kill each other until one of them is left so that they can be the only queen. Very savage, very intense, and yeah. I was so hyped for this book. I thought that synopsis alone was so intense, and I was like, oh my god, yes, sign me up. But I felt like I was a little bit disappointed because it was a very slow-paced book, and the first half of this book was very slow, and it was just setting up the world, introducing you to everything and all the magical systems and stuff like that. Then the second half of the book was really, really good, and I could not put the book down, and I was really loving it. And also there were so many shocks, and the ending... major cliffhanger, and I cannot wait to read the sequel, so I'm definitely going to read that. But yeah, the second half really made up for the first half, but I couldn't ignore the first half being so slow paced, so I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. But yeah, I'm still really excited to read the second one, and this book is just very dark, and I love how dark it is and how twisted it is. I also really love the cover of this book. Like, it's so pretty, and I just can't wait to read the second one, because I just feel like the second one is going to be so much better, because the first one just set everything up, and my rating will be a lot higher for the second one. But that's just my expectations. Let's see if that actually lives up and ends up happening, but who knows. Okay guys, so there are the 4 books that I read in the month of February. Let me know down below in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Also, let me know some books that you read in the month of February, and other than that, I shall see you all next time in my next video. So goodbye guys.